a video. Wait, no, that's another game of video which Dirtron talks about, which people watch, but probably not from this channel. But regardless, that's a discussion for another time. So, we're staring at the screen, and we'll be staring at the screen's entire video. Actually, no, we're not. I got a better idea. I got a better idea than that. Do I have a better idea than that? I think I might. Yes, I do have a better idea than that. Okay, better idea than that. So. How do I say this? Well, I probably should have made this video earlier, and actually probably made this video earlier, but today we're talking about the Russian-Ukraine situation. And how it just got, and how it just got worse. Apparently, which no one is covering this, which I find very odd, but apparently Russia has stepped into its occupied zones in Ukraine, eastern Ukraine. All people saying it's a full invasion. It looks like it isn't. It looks like they have just walked into their rightful lands that they took earlier a few years ago, or at least that's how Putin would say it. Or that the separatists took a few years ago, not them. Totally not. Just move your insignia off your uniforms and you're now separatists, because that's how things work. And also you bring all the tanks in the world and everything, and you're separatist. That makes no sense. Besides, that's very, very illegal. I don't think they care about that. I don't think, no one has said charge Putin for war crimes of sending in soldiers without insignia, because that's a war crime. You're not allowed to do that, and haven't been for a very long time. Been able to fight wars, or being able to fight wars without insignia. But oh well. But yeah, so Russia has moved into Ukraine, albeit they have not began to they have not began to fight the Ukrainians, the actual Ukrainians, separatists or whatever it was before, whatever the story was before. But now it hasn't gotten too real yet. But all those people saying, "Oh, there won't be an invasion because Russia, we are friends with Russia." You know, Russia, United States, Europe, and the rest, all friends, buddies in the UN, like it's the 2000s or something. They're looking more wrong every single day. And there's been claims of false flag attacks. There has been, Russia has been shuffling troops around, make it look like they're leaving. The Black Sea or whatever it is, the one that borders Ukraine, is now owned by Russia. It's completely covered with Russian steel, so I doubt we could do anything about that other than shoot them as they come out of the straits of not Belarus. They own that too, yes, but not the straits of the Bosphorus Straits, the ones that Turkey controls, and the royal we as in NATO own the Mediterranean for the most part. There are some Russian formations in the Mediterranean, but like they left all their other flanks exposed. All those fleets over in the Pacific for China could just, you know, show up and start bombarding Russia, start bombarding Siberia and Russia. Which answering a question whether or not Putin cares about Siberia and Russia or not. He should care, because he cares about everything that's part of the Soviet Empire, his words, not mine, aka everything every Soviet or Slav has ever owned that now belongs to him. And therefore, if you take Siberia from him, that should make him very angry. Which the United States could take Siberia from Russia, and I doubt Russia would try to. Russia could have a good excuse to use nukes against the United States and wipe out the human race. I don't think taking some land which you barely care about is going to cause that much alarm. Like taking Siberia for Alaska is not exactly the worst idea in the world. or making a new territory out of it, because why not? So yeah, but yeah, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go with this video other than just post some ideas about how the only ways to have prevented this, the only ways to have prevented Russia taking over Ukraine, because I'm pretty sure they will, and I have been right about these things before. Like their story, as far as I didn't try to predict anything with it, I predicted everything with it. Ugh. But anyway. So, idea number 1. Fill Ukraine with so many troops that Russia can't win. Why would Russia attack something it cannot win, especially now modern Russia? Soviet Union Russia, early mid-Cold War, when it had every advantage in the world. Yes, go ahead, Russia, try to take on that. But, right now, why would Russia fight something they cannot win? They're not dedicating their entire nation to this fight, yes. I don't know how much of their military they're dedicating to Ukraine. All the rest are in reserves or for later use, as in taking the Baltic states and then the rest of Europe one day. But if you put all your troops in Ukraine and just leave them there, like concentrating in the capital, treat it like Vietnam, where you touchy the northern part, touchy the eastern part of Ukraine or Russia, but you, by golly, keep troops all in the major cities. Basically treat it like Vietnam, and like Vietnam, we could hold out for decades and win, because the Russians don't have that much compared to NATO and friends. Then another thing you can do is just declare war on Russia. So you can have Ukraine, but we're going to take this instead. Like, for example, have Finland, like for example, send the Scandinavians down through Finland into northern Russia and have them claim that, because why not? Send Americans and the EU NATO members all the way through the Baltic states. Send Japan to reclaim its island, and then have the Pacific American forces take Siberia. Like, you can do that. Then there's nothing Russia could really do except mobilize the entire country. And then what it's gonna do? It's gonna lose at that point, because you're taking too much time before you mobilize. It was not expecting World War III, even though I want to be World War III. That'd be allies versus Russia. Because I know China would want to get involved. Yes, it could take Taiwan in that time, but I don't think it'd be worth making Americans angry and making the world angry when they start to really mobilize and they're on your doorstep. But I think just by far the best solution is just fill Ukraine with troops and just say Russia no touch. Then Russia cannot touch because Russia cannot win. But for some reason, I do say some reason, I really quite don't understand this. People in the modern day, not normally people watching this channel, of course, but people in the modern day are extremely selfish. Very, very selfish. Shame on you. To the point of, oh man, it really sucks what's going on in Ukraine. We support it. But man, I don't want to go over there and just sit there and make Russia go away. I really, it's not going to fit my schedule. It's going to be a pain, and I don't want to. It's just so infuriating how selfish people have become. Like, there is no reason why you can't send some of your military who you're already paying, who are already in formation, who are already willing to fight and die for you, go sit in Ukraine to make sure Russia can't capture it. Putin, being a sane actor, as much as insane beliefs he has, like he believed in the Soviet Empire, which never existed, and he wants to restore the good old times of late Soviet Union, which I don't understand. I don't understand how it could confuse late Soviet Union for early Soviet Union, or really Soviet Union at any time. But sure, but he's actually pretty sane in the fact that what Putin wants to do, he doesn't want World War III. He doesn't want to pull a Hitler and just conquer everything at once. No, he's actually smart. What he wants to do is conquer Ukraine, conquer the Baltics, because you can probably take them all at once, and then conquer Europe. Or Poland, stop, consolidate, Germany, you don't even need to consolidate, they probably just want to speak Russian anyway. Change things up a bit. And then France would actually be tough, but once you conquer France, your nation stretches coast to coast, just like your idol America. So another thing Putin could probably argue is this is manifest destiny for Russia, which would be a thing. But yeah, another strategy to defeat Russia is simply go with Japan. America goes with Japan, just America and Japan. That's all you really need, and just take the island that's north of the mainland islands of Japan, which Japan had for for a very long time until the Soviets came along, we're like mine at the very end of World War II. I believe that's when the Soviets took that island, was at the very end of World War II. Like one of the reasons why the United States dropped the nukes on Japan to gain surrender before Russia could take any more of Japan. So getting Japan's islands back would be pretty nice, and I doubt that there's a real Russian presence on that island right now. So that's free real estate, or well, it's Japan's real estate. That Russia has been colonizing for the last couple of decades. So why not get it back for Japan? It'd be a nice treat for them. Which, if Japan was a bit more militaristic, they probably would take this opportunity to take it back, but I don't think Japan's that militaristic yet. They will be one day, but not right now. They're getting close, but they're not. I don't think it's good. I don't think that's good enough. But yeah, another thing, and getting to the probably a bad idea. Is another thing America could do, could send a B-2 or a few B-2s over. Because why not have backups? It would be worth it if most of them get shot down. Send B-2s over escorted by F-22s and F-35s, because we're going to do that now. And send them over the North Pole. The Canadians will hate this, but whatever. Send them over to the North Pole and just drop a mother of all bomb on the Kremlin. Because I'm pretty sure that's where Putin hangs out all the time, so yeah. That'll take care of that. Another thing that my dad suggested, which is a lesser bad idea, is just make the Israelis angry about Putin for oppressing Jews in his country, and just have them and just have the Israeli intelligence make Putin trip and fall, or just be present when Putin trips and falls down some stairs, which don't exist. And totally listen to bulletin they say. Totally not. So yeah, there's a lot of things people can do, but yeah, and then that goes to why Putin, and yes, this is Putin that invading. I doubt that the 2% of people who watch his channel. I doubt that the Russians who watch his channel, which are the biggest minority that's not Americans on their channel, by the way. By the way, this channel has 20% American viewership, and the rest is not Americans. And the largest minority has been for a really long time, for a few years now, has been Russians, actually. Even though they're only 2% compared to the Americans' 20%, the Russians are 2%, and then I don't know, and everyone else kind of just blurs together, and the 1% and then less. So this is a very international channel, I guess. Which is very odd for YouTube, as most YouTube channels have been dominated by their nationality or Americans. Or Indians sometimes. And no, Indians only show up when you mention their name. But yeah. So yeah, I doubt that the majority of Russians actually want this war, or want Russia to go conquer, which leads to another problem. And much of the discussion's problem now, bad eye win these in these videos when I want to come back to something. Sorry. Yes. But anyway, so Putin has a major issue of what's going to happen when he dies. He does not have an heir, biological or otherwise. Whoops. I forgot I have a screensaver on now. But yeah, so Putin has... I'll be right back. So Putin has no heir, and the majority of his population does not think like him. So there is no way the Soviet Empire will last after Putin's death, because all Russia will turn out being would be probably join NATO at that point. Like, there is no reason not to without Putin. Like, because after Putin, it just becomes like Turkey. So they're like, there's no reason. Oh, Turkey or Poland. Like, there is no reason why Russia should not be NATO, except for Putin and his oligarch friends existing. Because they're the ones causing all the problem in the country. So, yeah. So, like, what is Putin's long-term goal once he makes Russia stretch coast to coast, assuming he does not die? Assuming he does not die before that, from natural causes in this case. I don't know. I honestly don't think he got that far. Right now, I think the majority of his plan, when he was clasping the Soviet flag next to his heart or whatever he has, during the fall of when he was watching the Soviet Union collapse on TV from his office in the KGB. This is what he was planning this entire time. This very moment, invading Ukraine, and he's going to invade Baltics, Poland, and then try to invade the rest of the country, the rest of Eurasia very slowly. Make Russia stretch coast to coast. The issue is, he has a lifespan, and I don't think he can beyond this. Which, to be fair, Hitler had better ideas about what to do after the war than Putin does currently. So yeah, if you're waiting for this to blow over, it might get worse. Depending on your definition of worse. If you mean worse is War 3, then yeah, it's not going to get worse. If your definition is not War 3, just constant mayhem and warfare, oppression, and Earth becoming a hellscape in a lot of places, yeah, that's a problem. That's what I have, the issue I have. The reason why I don't have an issue with War 3 per se is that at least I will get all the issues out of the window, and then we can have a nice clean slate like after World War II. Assuming if it ends well and we win. We would be my people not exactly Americans in this case or the West. The issue, I'm writing a book called "The Cost of Peace," and the overall theme of the book is the overall message, the theme, whatever of the book is. Yeah, if you don't nip problems when they're just in a budding stage of life, you're gonna be dealing with an entire tree that's gonna wreck your day. And in the cost of peace, at least what I've been writing so far, it's been 2 years and I still haven't gotten very far in the book. I don't have very much ideas about how to write it the way I wanted to write it, because it's technically an anti-war book, and I don't typically write anti-war books. I don't write pro-war books either, really. I don't know what those are anyway. But yeah, it's technically an anti-war book, and I suck at that. I really suck at trying to put my mind in that space. But yeah, basically it's essentially it's just watching countries fall all the time, and engaging in the battle of evacuating people to the United States, and then that'd be like the first half of the book, and then the second half of the book would be World War III in like the 2060s, defending the United States against essentially every single country on Earth, essentially the rest of the planet. Which, to be fair, Americans do want to try that one day. That's one of our kinks. Really, just want to fight everybody after fighting the United States government. They're all some of our sure kinks and zombies, them too. But it's not going to be pretty. But yeah, not wondering. I'm just not realizing we should have space colonies or have essentially United States own space. Oh well, have United States and the two other powers. There are three. There's a caliphate in the Middle East and Africa, and there is and then there is the people who are trying to conquer the entire world and everywhere else. That's not the United States. I guess it will have space. But that's a story for another time. I guess it will have space colonies, whatever, by that time, and that's just a story for another time. But yeah, I think that wraps this video, and it's just sad that people can't come together to fight Russia like in the back in the good old days. Like, why can't we come together and just stop something bad from happening? Why not? Yeah, I just don't get that. Why are people so selfish in a modern day? Like, why can't the Afghans have a country? They don't have it anymore. I call it Taliban land now. Like, why can't the Afghans have a country where where they have freedom and modern niceties? Instead, we had to run away from them because I don't know why. Like, why not? It wasn't costing us very much to be in Afghanistan. In the grand scheme of things, we make way more money than Apple makes more money than what it costs to be in Afghanistan. If Apple had a private army, if Apple was a true megacorp, it would be in Afghanistan. It could be in Afghanistan all by itself. I don't get that. It wasn't costing us lives. We were only losing a couple dozen people a year. That's insanely good, by the way, in a modern war. So I just don't get it. Like, are these people not willing to pay the cost of freedom? The cost of having more friends in the world? Like, why not? Open up more markets? It's just stupid, especially with the new political movements, which no doubt have experienced in the last couple of decades. Like, saying peace and stop the oppression, you don't go fight for it. Like, the Taliban are oppressing the Afghans and you left. That means you got leadership. Why? The Russians are oppressing the Ukrainians. Why aren't you in there? Why aren't you in there defending it? Why? It really does reek of hypocrite. It really does reek of them being hypocrites and liars, doesn't it? But yeah, which something I want to bring up earlier, which is the reason why Putin is invading now. This is the perfect time, because he doesn't have to deal with George W. Bush or even Obama or even Bill Clinton. All of them would have been fighting. All of them will be in Ukraine by now. Especially George W. Bush would probably be in Moscow by now. Let's be honest. Or are they dropping bombs on the Kremlin by now? But no, you have Trump and in Putin's perspective, the last two presidents have been fantastic. One was a best friend of his. They're probably still chatting. They're probably still talking on not social media. And then the other one, doesn't care. One was your best friend, Trump was his best friend, and the other one just flat out doesn't care. What better time to attack when they don't care? I mean, one was your friend, and it could be like one of those friends that say, hey, but you shouldn't do this. I'm going to stop people trying to do this. But no, the new guy just doesn't care. Biden just does not care about the oppression of minorities in Ukraine, because Ukrainians are a minority. They're not. I don't think there are many Ukrainians as there are Russians in the world. Especially Russian Ukrainians. Very rare. How many Russians live in Ukraine versus how many Russians live in Russia? Which, the funny thing about that, and the rest of Europe also doesn't care. They don't want to fight. They don't want to fund the militaries. No, they don't fund their militaries, except if they're France and Poland. Germany's military is falling apart. They're willing to make new vehicles and buy new vehicles, but they don't want to repair them. UK is kind of like, it's better than Germany a little bit, but not that great. They only have one carrier, and one super carrier, and it's not that great. And it's barely working. France is fine. Poland is fine. So, like, what happens if Russia declares war on Germany and goes around Poland and goes around France? Because they can do that. There's a northern seabed underneath Scandinavia, which Russia could go through and make naval landings on Germany. Or fly across Poland. Well, they probably couldn't fly across Poland and get away with it. Technically, they could fly across the sea and say, this is international waters I'm going to go to. I'm going to go drop my troops in Germany. Germany probably surrender. So yeah, like, it just doesn't work, this nonchalant, oh, they're fine, we'll be fine nature of modern day countries. But I think I'm done for right now. Oh yeah, and I should mention this wall, right here. That wall, you see? That was built during World War III in the Derverse. And is a couple miles away from Moscow, which is the other major city in the Eastern Coalition, which is what became Western China in this world after World War III. And basically, it's Moscow and Beijing are these massive mega cities, and then the rest, and then everything that's inside of their borders in this universe. Essentially, it's their civilization from like a mile below the ground all the way into. Basically, they're like icebergs. They're everywhere. And that scene probably takes place. Well, it takes place within modern Russian borders, and that's EU borders now, or EU borders in that world. Because that's what they took during World War III. And they essentially were like, never again, let's just shoot them as they approach the wall, because by the end of World War III, they just had to deal with just tons of machine hordes. And it's only, in World War IV, which takes place in like the 2060s, 2070s, 2080s, forgot which, in that universe, there's going to be a lot of machine hordes trying to get across borders, and was only solved by invading through Siberia, which was very weakly defended. But yeah. So I guess to my Russian and Ukrainian viewers, I hope you and your family makes it out of this. I'm sorry that there's nothing that I can directly do about it other than talk about it and make content for you if you still can watch it. I mean, yeah, I probably can still watch your content in the military, or wherever you are in Russia and Ukraine. And I just wanted to make this, video because I needed to talk about it. But yeah. Oh! Alright, that very first video, thanks for watching. Do appreciate you watching this video. And also want to me if you were to check out the rest of this stuff in the description, both sessions for Space Sports channel, of course, Space Sports Friends by watching these videos and each content reviews, by sharing with friends and this chat. Alright, that'll be it for you. Thanks for watching. I feel like making art now. I mean, I'm probably going to need some first, but I feel like making art about the situation from about the start of World War III from the point of view of their friends in 2040 in the Dervish. But anyway, alright, that'd be for sure. Thanks for watching. And I guess, whoops, see you in a second.